My name is Keith McIntyre. I pastor the Independent Baptist Church at Montezuma, and just appreciate the work of Parke Without Reverse and their ability to connect people with government. And I believe that Christians need to be connected with government and be aware of what's taking place. We've come alongside them to help for a couple of months to get the town council and board meetings out. But would like to invite you, if you don't have a church home, to the Independent Baptist Church in Montezuma. Our services are Sunday morning at 10:30. We have adult Bible classes and children's classes at 9:30. If we could ever do anything for you, you can contact me at mib.church. Thanks for watching.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roger, you're up.
Okay, I'm coming on behalf of Parke County Incorporated. Just some outstanding questions we have for Bridge Festival this year. I know Nisa met with, I think Doug, maybe some of the guys from the crew, but we need a definite answer as soon as we can on what size plugs we need for our food shacks.
I've got the things, picture they give me does not show the plug. So I need to get with Mike Adams to see if he can actually show me the plug. All he showed me was the box.
Is there a timeline on that? Because we gotta let our vendors know.
Yeah, I'll call him tomorrow.
On that side.
You can tell him I need to contract. Yeah.
Okay, chairs and shoot Nisa
Yep.
an email. That way.
We don't have.
Both pictures he sent me, two different boxes, have covers with the plug.
Okay.
So it shows me nothing.
Okay. We just need.
Okay. I'll try to get that for you tomorrow.
Okay. And she was talking about multiple plugs in the one in the vaults, is that correct?
Yeah, there's like, on the one, the plug you give me, there's like 3 on each side.
Okay. If you can get pictures of both, that way we just know what we
Yeah, so
feel
you'll be
like
able
it was.
to plug multiple
Okay.
into.
And then just wanting to double check, at the end of last year's festival, we met and were told that the bathrooms at the depot were going to be closed for the 10 days. And if we wanted to open them, we could give them a key. Is that still the case?
I don't remember ever that being said.
I don't remember that being said either.
That was in the round table, I could call it a round table meeting we have after First Festival with a couple of us. It was not in the board meeting.
No, I don't think we would want those closed.
We were told you guys weren't going to clean them. That's what.
Well,
We did
Yes.
say that. I mean, but I didn't know we were.
we're not closing them, we'll run it just like we did last year. We'll maintain them Monday to Friday and you'll have them on the weekends.
But it's not Monday through Friday because your holiday's on Monday. So that puts us in 5 days cleaning, and the fee for that and the toiletries and everything, it's almost cheaper for us to get porta pots for the 10 days. By the time we pay someone to clean 5 days and then cover all the paper products. So if you guys want to maintain them the 4 days of the festival, and then you can lock them on the weekend, we'll have the porta pots out there on the weekends. Unless we come up with something.
This seems like a simple thing becoming really complex. And when we have a physical structure, restrooms, right? We have them open throughout the year except for cold weather.
Yep.
So what's the sticking point here? I mean, what's your guys' issue?
We don't have an issue. We've been told that you guys don't want to pay the overtime to cover them on weekends and clean them. So that's why last minute, we agreed to finding someone ourselves to cover the weekends, which ended up.
Well, board, let's hear what you guys say. I mean, are we going to open them or not? I mean, I don't know what, that was a round table thing. I don't know, what are we doing, guys?
I don't remember that, but I do remember saying that we weren't gonna maintain them on the weekends because of having somebody come in. Who did you have last year?
We have a local lady, but she doesn't, from my understanding, she's not able to do it this year. She has a business in town and also I believe under the tent.
So the one day is a holiday, the 14th, I guess that's what you're referring about there.
And I believe I was at that meeting, so I believe that was just a conversation that was brought up as your suggestion as you we could close them if you wanted to do porta potties. It wasn't that we are going to close them, but
Yeah,
that
we-
was a suggestion on PCI's behalf as if you don't want to maintain them. So there was no vote taken, there was no action that could be taken on
Right,
that
so that's why I'm
meeting,
here
so-
tonight, just to see
So
where we're at.
if
with it.
anybody wasn't there and needs to clarify, that's what was talked about.
Okay.
Well, again, I mean, I know Bridge Festival's a benefit to Rockville and Parke County, but, I mean, what was the cost on it last year? Do you remember?
I don't know off the top of my head. But like I said, we anticipated the 4 days, and then that last minute, we forgot it was a holiday for you guys on Monday, because you always take do the same as the county and take what is it, Labor Day or whatever on Monday?
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day. So,
Well, I mean, what do you guys want to do?
I am open for us covering it. all
I
10
am too.
days, but
All
that's
10.
me.
I am all 10 days. I just don't see why we have a problem doing a little above and beyond for the festival guys. I mean, don't give me big eyes. I mean, what was Melissa say
Have
something?
it to be hard.
It's not hard, but the guys get called in 3 to 4 times a day at $30 an hour.
Well, we have one person or 2 people that we
So,
dedicate
plus
to that.
material to supply back.
Well, yeah, you got toilet paper and hand towels and and soap. But gee whiz. You know,
I will just add that if you want to go back to maintaining them, then let me know, because there has been a big fuss in the past whenever I was asked to build, and then I got a complaint as far as billing PCI for those materials. So if we're gonna take it on, I need to know if we're taking it on as a whole.
oh yeah, we need to have clarification on cost.
So that's where I stand as far as the billing.
As a gal that pays the bills.
So what's the county do at the courthouse?
I think
They're open.
They're open?
all 10
Take
days.
care of it.
They don't get overtime, they get comp time.
Then that was the change. Well, I believe it was under agreement, they were supposed to take care of them on the weekend before, but Jeff always let one of our guys know. And then when we switched from comp time to overtime, we'd be paying somebody $30 an hour or more to come in and do it, and they get called in probably 3 hours. Last time I did, I got called in 4
Well,
times.
some of our guys, not everybody's at 30. We got some 20, low 20s.
A time and a half.
Okay, we're time and a half on a holiday and on weekends. We'd have 5 days, it could be time and a half.
Yeah, so you're looking at least $30 an hour every time they come in.
Okay. For how many hours? Not that many hours. Not gonna be down there 10 hours a day.
Well, I'm not gonna come in for 5 minutes either, so.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you
No, it's not.
you have a schedule. Basically, you go check them in the morning, you go check
But
them.
they get called in throughout the day. When they run out, people steal the toilet paper.
Oh, people, really?
Yes.
Yes.
So
they
they
do.
stole it all before the festival even started last
Yes.
year, so
So
2 days before festival started, the bathroom was completely wiped out of material.
Well, how is the toilet paper dispensed down there? It's not in the
it's in a
law.
big, it holds like 5 or 6 rolls and it's plastic. They're plastic and they just pry on them. They come.
Good Lord.
None of them are that secure. It's even the metal ones.
They're taking
So yeah,
to
so
the
you get
campus.
called out there and then. So that's why last year it was a decision to make that they would maintain them on the weekends. We supplied the material and then end up,
Walking off.
so.
Yeah. Well, we do have the material costs. We still have a 10-day staffing issue. I mean, where are you guys at? I mean, Chris and I kind of were like, well, 10 days doesn't seem unreasonable for our big kahuna we have every year, and it's quite the event.
Is it just whoever's on call?
Yeah, whatever rotation it falls.
You just do it 8 to 4. That way they're not open all the time.
Well, yeah, they can't be on call
That might-
24/7.
That might prevent theft a little bit.
Or the hours of the festival, which is 9 to 6?
Yeah, could do that.
What brought up the whole big issue last year?
Well, I think it was just the cleaning and maintaining, and like I said, Doug's guys were getting called in. They may come in the morning to stock, and then they were going home. Well, then they may get a call, am I not correct, by 1 o'clock?
Yeah, somebody
maybe?
contacts, I guess, the
They're
fire
getting called
department, they
back
contact.
in.
Like I said, last time I did, I got fucked 4 times a day.
It's,
Plus, then the
It's an
campers,
ongoing.
they go over,
They go over there and try to bathe and make complete
I mean,
mess.
it was a big enough
It's-
issue last year that we brought it to a roundtable discussion. I don't think I was there, but it was a big enough issue last year that had a big meeting of the minds, so.
Yeah, but when you have a problem, you just don't say, okay, forget it and drop it. You got to figure out what's a good solution to it.
Well, I think that was the suggestion from PCI at that meeting,
Yeah.
was we would be willing to just do porta potties if it's gonna be an issue with cleaning and maintaining and money and keeping that
And if it's
going,
cheaper
then-
than what they had to pay.
What would you guys prefer?
In my opinion, the town covers it.
Yeah.
They take care of the restrooms at the park during baseball and softball season. We don't have any events at the depot the 10 days. Yes, there is visitors down there, but our events on the square.
Right.
The community, the town has the vendors down the street.
Well, it is part of our park and rec department. I mean, that's where we put the depot.
Wasn't there a problem with the people that were camping close to there too?
Oh, I've heard all kinds of stories. Yeah, with campers going in there and doing their sink.
We don't
bath.
pay overtime for the ball league. We don't get called in after hours for it. Don't get called in 4 times Saturday. So there's a big difference. So,
Well, yeah, there is. It's a special occasion.
yeah.
What about like part-time seasonal help or something like that? Couldn't you hire somebody to do the 10 days or something like that?
Yeah, why don't you find someone who wants to earn some money over a 10-day period? Heck, they could stand down there with a uniform on and
Yeah.
brush in
Somebody wanted
hand.
to do it.
Or,
What are you doing, Kevin? You got 10 days spare?
or could you adjust someone's schedule to where they work a Wednesday through Sunday, so you're not paying the overtime?
I want to study that person to get.
No, they want us to do it all in.
But I think, to answer your question, Park, I mean, if you hire somebody for 5 days, 8 or 9 hours a day, 40 hours a week, they pay them $12 an hour to cover PCI to cover those 5 days, pay them $12, you're talking $480. I don't know where you're gonna get porta potties for that, but that's just me thinking.
Well, again, it's our asset. We own it. We take care of it the rest of the year. So when we have our big event, we don't want to take care of it. That doesn't seem right.
Is that your motion,
Which what?
to cover the bathrooms?
Well,
At the town's expense.
well, we need to figure out how to minimize our expense on it. You know, I understand Doug's concern that, you know, these guys.
Roger, if, are you getting porta potties regardless?
We're gonna have somebody.
I don't know.
You guys get them on the
We
square,
have
don't
them
you?
reserved, but we haven't committed to it because we didn't know where we were. That's why I'm here tonight, to figure out exactly
I mean, you
where we're
got-
at, so we can confirm or cancel that.
You guys do get some though, don't you, anyways? I mean,
We had some, we set a few down here at the Sentinel parking lot.
I don't know.
well, let me ask you this. How many more are you looking at getting?
I don't know. I don't know how many.
I mean, do you have an idea? What I'm trying to get at is whatever the rent is on the additional porta potties that you're looking at. If we're willing to help, would you give us the offset cost of that instead of the porta potties? I mean, are you following what I'm saying?
No, I'm not.
So if you were gonna rent, I mean, I'm just throwing out some numbers, but say you rent 5 porta potties now and you're gonna rent 10 of them, and let's just say they're $1,000 for the additional 10, or the additional 5, would you give us that $1,000 to help man the depot?
Instead of getting.
Yeah, instead of, I mean, you're talking about getting 5 more or 10 more, however many you're looking at. The additional
Basically,
cost
just
of it.
cover your labor.
Right, material, labor, whatever, yeah, whatever we're, you know.
Whatever they do, yeah. What? Yeah.
I mean, just like we said, you know, last year, they stole everything out of there before the festival even started. So I'm assuming the campers did that or what, you know, I don't want to put any labels on anything, but I mean, either that or kids stocked up on their TPs, so, you know, but.
What can I ask? Now they're open 24 hours a day during the festival, and we just have key lock.
Yeah, there's,
Well,
Why they open 24 hours a day?
can we get time locks on them and just have them open? I mean, we
Why not
should.
close them for night time?
I know we get time locks before the festival, we can try.
Well, you could, yeah, now, well, the key lock, you could just
Well,
lock
but if
it.
you're gonna have a, you know, to me, if you're gonna have a guy come in at 9 and check them and at 6 and check them, they can just lock them.
Yeah, you could secure them at night. I mean, most folks, the peak is over.
Right.
Might minimize some baiting.
Yeah.
I think we spend more time talking about
No
bathrooms
kidding.
than anything. in the United States.
Just make a motion that we cover the bathrooms.
So what do you think,
That's all we
Roger?
need.
You guys willing to do that? Or-
To help some on the cost, basically, that's what he's saying. You guys,
We define what the cost is, like, what are we helping cover
That is
with?
separate.
Yeah, I'd like to take that back to the board and see.
right,
We could lock them and unlock the doors if you wanted to lock them in the evenings and unlock them.
well, I think Dave, what was David saying, you guys were thinking about getting 5 more porta potties, saves $1,000, and now that you're not gonna get them because we're gonna keep those restrooms open and staffing and all that stuff, well, you know, that 1,000 could be helped, used to defray our cost on it, I mean, you know.
I mean,
It's,
I'm sure we could have come up with the figure from last year. I mean, obviously, you know, we don't know what that is right now, but whatever the additional cost we had last year, I mean, that would give us a frame of what we're looking at for this year. You know, within a few dollars anyway, so.
Do you have any complaints of not enough bathrooms last year?
Yes, massive complaints.
they're just, it's impossible to accommodate that many people in town. I go through a pack.
I feel
go
like
through-
there weren't as many porta potties up here as there used to be. I mean, that was the complaint I got a lot, was like there used to be 5 or 6 and there were 2 or 3.
There was 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, it's a huge issue, Chris.
So you guys need to order more anyways. We're up here.
Can I throw out an idea? I don't know if it's ever been discussed before, but maybe have porta potties in addition to depot restrooms, but you actually charge for the depot restroom. It is a premium restroom. It is always stocked. It is always clean.
I don't know how we would charge though, John.
Is the depot not under all time during festival?
The depot is, but not the restrooms.
Or is there?
And it's public.
Okay.
The public restrooms, a lot of other places, just put a donation box that says to help the town.
We'd probably get stolen if it
I was gonna
wasn't.
say.
Probably here, I mean,
That on the way out with the toilet.
Good idea.
My argument is why we don't need a public restroom on the square.
So,
If you can come up with a number and say, hey, it'll be this much to have an overtime person called in 2 or 3 times a day, or they have a set schedule of coming at these 3 times, and paper products, if you could shoot us that number, then we can look at it at our next meeting and get back with you.
Can we not just like open them from 8 to 6, 2 hours a day?
Yeah, okay, okay, I'm gonna try to put together a motion here and move on.
I don't know.
Okay, gonna try to make a motion here so we can move on to this. Yeah, I move that we keep the depot bathrooms open during the festival on a set schedule, like 8 to 6. In other words, locked after that. And we will work with PCI to figure out what the cost will be to them, and come to an agreeable terms. Follow.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll say aye on that. Opposed?
I'll be an aye.
I'll be an aye, but I think there should have been some parameters lined out before we made a motion, put it on the table.
Well, we got some.
Some's loose though, and it was, I mean, you've committed probably between last year and this year, 2 hours talking about bathrooms.
Well, I know,
That's
that's
a
been,
lot of time.
More than that.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
So, and then by leaving it open-ended, you're tying up a lot more time.
Well, you could have jumped in and helped
Yeah.
anytime. Anyway, there you go.
Could you come out with something too, like across from Depot there with all them vendors and campers that the owner having so many on there provide so many porta potties on his property?
Isn't the county working on that?
Something like that?
County's been talking about it. I wouldn't say that there's anything that's imminent for this year though.
Are they talking about bathrooms?
I mean,
I mean,
For landlords.
they
Yeah.
have to provide for their vendors.
That's a good point.
That's not a town issue, it's a county
I
issue
know.
though.
What?
But I mean,
You got other stuff? You got other stuff?
No, that's,
That's it. What about the street over here? I've heard
I
talk
just
about.
want to backpedal just a little bit on these terms, though. Who
Okay.
are you assigning to be responsible for working with them on these terms?
Town board.
Okay.
That's why you people are elected in here.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
I just want to make sure, I mean, so if, if there's some terms of agreement or something, then I would just suggest maybe bringing that back to the next council meeting for
So
that to be
Who's
followed up
unlocking
on.
it and who's locking it?
Well, that can be determined. Bill said
Bill
something about those
volunteered.
guys could do
I
it.
think this motion was just to say we're covering it for the festival. It doesn't have any details as
We didn't
to
get
what
to
we're
fine
doing.
details, but,
We need to have that done, but
Well, I guess, I mean, when you say you're covering it, what's that mean?
If you're covering
yeah,
it
we're gonna
with
staff it, we're
terms.
gonna buy the material, we're hoping to get some reimbursement from PCI for the material, we're gonna lock it and unlock it,
You have your invoice from last year.
on a time, some kind of time
Not with me,
frame.
Nisa would have a copy. She's out of town.
Okay.
Now, is that
Brian, you
motion
would have-
pending being able to reach an agreement with PCI on covering expenses then?
Well, I'm sure they'll come back with something, I mean, I'm not expecting some total cover of cost, I mean.
Would it just be easier if we say a dollar amount and agree or disagree?
Do what?
If we just throw out a dollar amount to you guys and say, we'll pay you X amount if you guys cover the restrooms on the 5 days?
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that either. I mean, I'd like to know where we're at. I mean, at least not tonight.
Okay.
I thought we were covering all 10.
Yeah, we're covering all 10, aren't we?
10.
So,
Are you volunteering to cover 5?
No. My understanding though, normally you guys would cover the
Oh,
5.
during the
partial
week.
cost,
Gotcha.
yes.
So we would assist with covering the other 5, but then the paper products or whatever for the 10.
Right. So, I say we'll
talk
put some
about it
costs
some more.
together.
2 weeks from today, let's have some more definite.
Did you have anything else you want to talk about?
That's all. That's all.
So, we're not gonna resolve the toilet issue tonight, so.
Wherever.
Anybody else got anything on this?
Positive.
Never.
That's a no. Michelle?
I'm not gonna talk about bathrooms.
Okay, yeah, let's don't do that.
Where would you like me to start?
At the beginning. I mean, we got a couple things we need to do, before we can move forward on this, but, you can tell us what the plan is.
So we have music lined out. We'll have a band, a couple of people opening for the band. I have a beer vendor, a wine vendor, a few food vendors, some different vendors too, just selling stuff. And then I'll have a kids area. I'm hopeful that this will be included in the bicentennial. So I'm wondering if I can have some money donated for that. And then just making sure we're all good to go with alcohol in the park.
So it's back at the park.
I think we're gonna bring this back up here shortly with Nick, but, if that passes, I mean, we should be fine, as long as your people have their state permits, correct?
I've already, yeah.
So it'll be on them if there's any kind of issues.
And they do this stuff all the time, so they know, the roped off area, which, they'll have a roped off area and they'll check IDs, but my biggest thing is are they able to leave that area? Is it different from like here when they had it? Or, do they have to stay in that spot or can they mingle in the park?
So is it like New Orleans or is it like?
What's that called, that test? When they're all has to drive about, like you can open carry.
And Michelle, while
You have
they're
to
talking
have
about that, I
Right.
just want to back up again.
The only thing I
because
said is,
I'm
the
the backup
only thing we're
person.
doing is amending our
Um,
park ordinance.
I
They're
was told
responsible
several months ago
for
by
finding
people that
all
are
state
watching
law.
our meetings
So
that
whatever the
there's a
state
tendency
laws
of
are,
talking about
that's
things
on
and not
them. That's
knowing,
not on
people,
us.
public don't know. So if you want to just express what the event is and the date and everything, that would probably be good because people that are either here or possibly that will watch our meeting later, they're like, what were you guys talking about? So if you want to just kind of go into that just in brief, just to let everybody know.
So it's the Rockville Summer Chautauqua on August 31st from 4 to 11. First ever event. I will have, my plan is to take donations. This year, I'm not charging anyone to set up, being a first year event. Just don't know what it's going to be about. But I've encouraged them because the money, the plan, if we raise any money, will go to improve the bathrooms. Sorry, I brought bathrooms in, but
At the park.
Yes.
It's too bad for it.
That's the first thing is to start with the improvement of that. And then I'm hopeful that this grows each year and then money just keeps going back to the park.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Bill, back to her question, or you or Nick, on whether they can go outside the roped area.
That's why you have to stay inside the roped area, coming as a member of the alcohol board. I'll check on that for you if you'd like.
But the road area can be large as an alcoholic beverage commission.
Did you find it?
Like as large as the park.
Well, do you want us to move on to,
Well, I mean, really, like I told you, is the only thing we're doing is amending our ordinance and saying that our ordinance will no longer be enforced if you have written permission from the town. You guys, it's your
For
job
that-
to, it's their job to know what state law is. It's not our job to say you
For
can walk
that
around the
day.
park or not. We're not, if you break a law that's a state law, subject to your penalties, the town's just saying we're not enforcing our ordinance. So it's not our job to give them legal advice on if they can walk outside the roped in area
Yeah.
or walk down the street or any, it's their job to know that.
okay,
And the ordinance states that possession of alcoholic beverages or controlled substances prohibited within Beechwood Park without written consent of the Rockville Town Council.
Right, so the
So
only
any
thing
event.
we're doing is giving them written authority to have alcohol at their event. The event goers are responsible for the repercussions of their actions and not knowing what the law says.
So we need a
But to
motion.
clarify, the alcohol is defined as beer and wine, there's,
So you guys' written permission should define the alcohol you're allowing as beer and wine. So they're gonna need something from the town saying you're authorized from this date at this time to this date at this time to have an event that has alcohol and wine.
now that's all you tend to have, beer and wine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'll have, you know, they talked about like a mix, like an adult Capri Sun, so like a mixed drink.
That's alcohol.
You got alcohol.
Yeah, I'm just, well, we're not gonna have down there mixing,
no.
yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
I think-
Those will be made up, or everything, it'll be in a
I
can or a
think
cup.
Doug thinks that's not a good idea.
She said beer and wine, and then we're saying Capri, that's a mixed drink. It's
Yeah,
beer
it's
and
a-
wine,
it's a
beer
hard
and wine.
alcohol.
Yeah, but pre-mix, it's still a mixed drink. You're better off to go with all alcohol, period, for a specific date and time, if you're gonna amend your ordinance.
What are the hours?
4 to 11.
I make a motion, we amend our no alcohol in the park ordinance on August 31st from 4 to 11 to allow alcoholic
This
beverages.
is just in general.
Wait, so, whoa, back up. We're just amending the ordinance to say that you're not allowed to have alcohol in the park without written permission of the town board, period.
And that's what I'm
And then your
saying.
written permission's gonna put restrictions on it.
Okay. That's my motion,
To amend the ordinance.
to amend the ordinance.
Well,
Well,
we're,
to
Nick has it ready.
change the wording in our,
Right, the only thing we're doing is amending our ordinance to allow the town to give written permission for events at the park, basically. And if you're not having a pre-approved written event at the park, you're violating our ordinance. That's all we're changing on this.
right.
And then if you guys want to put restrictions on the event, that's an agreement you'll have with the event holders that you guys will do. And I assume if they violate that, you just won't let the event take place the next year.
Okay, you made a motion, I'll
Would you like to
second.
go ahead and just accept her motion for the ordinance with the alcohol change to this and get this out of the way?
Yeah, that's
Would that
fine,
be good?
yeah. I just wanted to clarify that we're just amending it to allow you guys to give written permission.
Okay, got it.
Otherwise, it's prohibited without written permission still.
Okay.
So is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I think it's same day, same meeting too.
Yeah, there's,
So you guys sign
there's
twice.
just signatures, please.
Now, if you want restrictions specific to their event, you're gonna wanna have in your written permission, you give them that they can have on this date from this time to this time, and it can only be beer and wine, or it can be whatever you're comfortable with it being.
Who's putting that together?
I mean, I can do that, I just need the specifics on it.
Well, Brandy, you wanna-
August 31st from 4 to 11. Where are we on that? Are we doing beer and wine, or are we doing it?
4 to 11.
Are our bathrooms open?
For a small fee. For a small fee.
Okay, while we're laughing, are you guys, how much money
Park closes at
would you
10.
like for us to?
If I could do
Are you allowing it to stay
2,500.
open till 11 then?
25?
Write
Yes.
it into our thing.
Or 11,
The money that
open. We don't have to do it on that, we can do it on this.
Okay, yeah, David, you said something about money?
Yeah, can we, can I get a motion to, I don't want to say just give, but,
Donate.
In two places.
I mean, I'm working to get as much donated and taken care of as I can. I mean, Fountain Trust, they've already sponsored the band. So, you know, I'm still working towards that, but there's like, you know, we have to pay for insurance, pay for advertising, just things that it's hard to ask someone to don't, you know, donate towards our insurance for it, stuff like that. So any money that is left over would either, I don't know if it goes back to you guys or if it goes towards.
Was this part of Bicentennial?
No.
it's a bicentennial event, but it's for the restrooms at the park.
What's the name
Hey,
of the
Melissa,
organization?
2 places.
So
Oh,
that's what this
Who's in
event
charge
is
of this?
for.
Like, who's liable for this?
Town of Rockville.
So,
This is the town of Rockville's event?
It sounds like it, the more, yeah.
there was a special event
Yeah.
application submitted to the insurance provider, which would be a cost of $250 to have that special event, which is approved by the insurance carrier.
So this is the town of Rockville's event.
But who's putting, well, I'm getting confused.
Well, we're either contracting with somebody that they're responsible for this event, or it's the town of
It's
Rockville's
the town of
event.
Rockville.
It's the town of Rockville event.
Nobody else is being held responsible.
So we're not giving anybody written permission, then,
So we don't do.
right, it's your own event.
But we just have to have the certificates. We have to have a special event application, and we have to have the certificates of any vendor that is set up on site for protection of liability.
Right, but so I don't need to draft an agreement for, say, Main Street or for Chamber of Commerce, or, so there is no event?
No.
All right,
No,
well then, that changes everything.
I don't know where that came about, but no.
Yeah, I heard.
okay.
I didn't realize it was the town's event itself, so we don't need to do any of that. But that's still a good amendment to the ordinance in case we need it in the future, so.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the money.
The only thing I have to say is that when Leanne presented it to the park board, is that it was explicit that there was no funding that was needed, nor we didn't have any funding. That we weren't obligated to spend any money, and that they were gonna get sponsors for everything. So, because they approached the park board since it was gonna be at the park.
But who's they?
Leanne spoke on behalf.
I think Leanne came to a park board meeting and spoke about the event, but I don't think you were available or something at that meeting.
I'm still confused. So we're doing the event, basically. PCI, or not PCI, or town board. You're organizing the thing. And so we have to pay for some, to get this thing going, it sounds like.
and do we need to do the $250 for the insurance?
Well, we've already done that.
Well, I haven't paid for it. I have it on my agenda that
Okay.
goes under new business with the special event application.
Well, what the bathrooms at the park have to do with all this?
I'm trying to take up donations to improve the bathrooms there. This event, the purpose of it is to improve things at the park.
Okay.
And I had approached Dave just asking that because it's a town event, it's in town at the park, that it be part of the bicentennial. Just because after I got into this and just like I said, I mean, we're gonna need some money. I say to do some things because we gotta advertise for it. We gotta pay insurance.
Basically, it
There won't
started
be
out as
any
an event that I'll say you and Leanne maybe had planned or were trying to plan, brought to the park board's attention. And then continued with that, but no sponsor, so it had to be a town event that I think, are you looking to the future, that it be a park board sponsored event? But since nobody else is sponsoring it, the town has to sponsor it, or there was no one else to do so, is how the town originally got involved.
When Leanne and Kim were on the park board, there'd been talk about it for a
Prior to COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
It
There
had
was gonna
nothing
be
to
an
do
event.
directly with Bicentennial. I mean, this was a 2-year ago conversation.
Well,
that was brought up.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, it
probably
was-
longer than that, but, so that's kind of where, I think, where it all started, how you got involved, how the town ended up getting involved as sponsorship, if you will. Every vendor that is there is going to be required, if this takes place, to provide a certificate of insurance with the town named as additional insured, or they will not be allowed to set up on town property, per the insurance carrier. Which that should happen with any event on town property, even Bridge Festival, all of them should be supplying a certificate of insurance. They shouldn't be running a business or holding any business sales without that certificate.
Okay, that cleared that up,
Did we?
so.
Nope.
So, what kind of money are we talking about?
2,500.
2,500 for this. What's the name of it again?
The Rockville Summer Chautauqua.
The Rockville Summer Chautauqua, 2,500. Well, let's give it a shot and see how we do. I'll make a motion. We fund the Rockville Chautauqua
Summer Chautauqua.
Summer Chautauqua Festival, or just Summer Chautauqua.
Chautauqua is the event.
Chautauqua is the event. Okay.
What about the insurance, $250?
What about it?
You want to make a separate motion?
Is that going to be within that donated, since that is insurance, included under insurance and advertising?
And I assumed it would be.
Then yes, it is.
I guess it is.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, I hope it goes good. Yeah, I've never done that before. Well, you're in a park board. You should know about this stuff.
I know about it.
Okay.
It's a first come, first served at the park. So, and we didn't commit any funds. We didn't have to vote on anything. It was just presented to us, and good luck going forward.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Randy, are you ready?
Sure. I have 2 set of claims, one for $161,817.49, and I've got a second set for August for $305,630.12. I do not have those listed on the agenda because I didn't have those in time to put them on there.
Anything out of the ordinary? I didn't see any. Did you see it?
I did not.
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's a couple of sets of adjustments you can look at if you want to. There's 2006-2870, there's 1770-155, mainly are going to be leak adjustments and pool. And there are some pool receipts for insurance fees that we collect, or we expense on the square up for $384.68. So there are 3 actual different sets there, but one motion would be okay.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Got the NDOT soft market change order, the $91,519.68 that I sent you all probably a couple weeks ago at least. It was after our last meeting.
Yeah.
It was forwarded from the project supervisor. That is not a town funded, that needs to be approved. Change is still within our percentage allowable, but I do need to have that recorded for approval.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That just requires Dave's signature. I think if you just want to sign the top and title it, then they will sign the other spot there. We already covered the ordinance 2024, 04 on the park rules that Nick has covered. Nick has also brought back, as you asked in the last meeting, for the ordinance on the placement of the stop signs. So that will basically state ordinance 2024-03 that the stop signs at the intersection of McCune Avenue and South Barton Street in town limits, basically wanted a clarification, I believe, on the location of those signs.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have for right now.
All righty, thank you. Bill?
Okay, so July 2024, we had 63 ECWS entries, 0 felonies, 2 misdemeanors, 7 infractions, 1 ordinance violation, and 77 warnings. In 2023, we had 71 entries, 2 felonies, 2 misdemeanors, 15 infractions, 1 ordinance violation, and 70 warnings. And the ordinance for police parking. When we get moved into the new building here, I'm directing the officers not to park right up against the building so that the premier parking is for the patrons that are coming there to come see us. I'm asking for the last 2 parking spaces, one on this side, one on the other on the island for police parking, so that way the squad cars aren't filling up in front of the police department and people can actually get up there and get to it. And then we would still have a place to park when we show up to take the calls because we're not always in the office.
You're talking out front?
Yes, on the island, not on the...
In the south. In the south.
One on each side.
One on each side.
Okay.
Down here.
Market or on here or on High?
On High Street.
On High.
I'll make the motion.
Someone.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have.
Yeah, I'll try. I mean, you can, but it's gonna say what you said, so.
Well, Bill, can I ask a question here?
Sure.
Yeah, as far as budgetary stuff, I know you can't remember where you were at on your budget stuff, but you know, as far as vehicles, can you come up in your budget for next year on budget for vehicles? I know we have the 4 new ones, we have the other 2 Tahoes, we have the whatever it is.
2016 Ford Explorer.
Yeah. Well, kind of give us an idea when you're going to cycle those out and kind of a longer term plan than just a budget for next year. You know, when do you think you're going to want to switch them out and kind of give us an idea?
I'd like to replace those Tahoes, start doing all that work next year so that the 26 we could replace the 2 Tahoes.
Okay, so that'd be another budget year. Okay, but yeah, I think it'd be good for the board to know not just next year as far as vehicles, but further out.
Currently, I've spoke with the Department of Agriculture about replacing the white Explorer, and he's asked me to call him back. I believe in September, something about the way their budget runs. It's not January to December, so they'll have a new cycle coming up, and he wants me to call him right before that.
You're talking rural development?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're July 1st to June 30th budget. I know their budget this year has been pretty undecided yet. Okay, but I think it'd be beneficial for us as a board to
I don't think our insurance wants to insure our cars after 100,000 miles.
do what? They don't insure.
They don't like to do that.
They don't like to do it.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, when we bought the 2 Tahoes previously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'd be helpful, I think.
So you got Park?
Yeah.
Good. Doug?
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot here. No purchases needed.
What?
Just some updates. B&T has Case in town doing the road repair, and they have their company in here doing repairing the yards. There was a few yards left over that's left, so they're here repairing them from the valves and everything. Market Street, Doug is still waiting on a schedule for the pavers, but everything else is moving along. They're going to be coming up the west side of Market Street Wednesday with the curb, so they're moving right along. But as soon as they can get it scheduled, they're ready for pavers. They're having a hard time getting it scheduled.
Good deal.
IMPA on Anderson Street will finish up Wednesday, be done with the pole moving and everything. That's done. Then Colin was back over at McClure's, did some more work. There's still a little bit more work once it dries up just at the bottom. They seem to be moving along pretty good on that. The trees over there at Stark Street that was asked about a while back has been trimmed and everything back for school. We got a little bit more cleaning up to do there. Other than that, that's pretty much done. And then another thing I got is I did check with the state on parking on Ohio Street. They said that we were given a letter 20 years ago or so that they turned that parking over on Ohio and 41 to the towns. So basically, we can do whatever we want. We do have to have an ordinance, or however we want to change it. Whether you want to do the line at 20 feet out, but yeah, he said it's all up to us.
I mean, if we're gonna do anything, I like the idea of the line, but
Did they give you an email that said that, or just verbal?
He said it was a letter. I call him back and see if he'll resend something, but
I'd feel warm and fuzzy if we had that in writing.
so he's also supposed to be sending me information from his small town that they had the same issue.
Yeah.
And so I can reach out to them and see how they handled it.
No, yeah, but
So
the letter, something in writing from the state would be
Okay.
great, because we don't have that letter from 20 years ago.
I agree, but the way he talked, but I told him about the line that he had brought up. He thought that was a great start, the way to do it and everything, so.
Yeah, just let me know what you want to do.
So, outside of that, that's all I have. Like I said, no purchases.
So are they going to bring one of those machines that moves the bricks?
My understanding,
down?
there'll be a machine coming. Yes,
So they still have concrete in the intersection at High and Market, don't they?
Yeah, just a little bit there, but
Yeah.
they should have that done this week.
Okay.
My understanding.
Okay, good.
so back on Anderson Street, Miller's gonna move in tomorrow. They're gonna start on the gas on Anderson, moving it. And I believe we're gonna have a walkthrough tomorrow at 9:30, I think. So the poles have been moved.
Yep.
They're gonna finish that up. Hang AT&T on our poles. The gas will go in, and then Foyt should be ready to start.
Yeah, my understanding Ford's is ready as soon as they get the okay to go over there.
You got anything to add to that, Lou?
Yeah, they called me saying they were ready to go. Joint still has to move a few things. They're supposed to be starting on it today, so hopefully within a week they're done. AT&T I know has called in locates personally, so they should be getting started here pretty soon. There's two locations that might be in conflict. The one AT&T line, if it is in conflict, he told me it's a huge out schedule. He went and located the depth. We checked the elevations. It should be good. If anything, we should be able to bend it by 2 inches and keep this moving rather than delaying it. That's about it for Anderson.
What about Joint?
They got quasi to move, and they got to throw a new line along the south side. But their hopefully start date was today, dependent on NDOT approval. So I'm gonna check in tomorrow and see if you got that.
Hopefully we can get some timelines
Yeah.
in the next few weeks on this too. And I'm sure Brandy's gonna talk about Stark Street when we get to that point, so with that, I will let Brandy have it.
So I don't really have any updates on the project and the list per se, but the Stark Street, after talking my last conversation with Milestone, they are not going to do it until they come to do Anderson. So wherever Anderson's projected time frame will be, which I think should be sooner than later, and things are moving right along. I mean, I think there's minimal side work to be done,
I'm
correct?
hesitant to give a timeline
Yeah.
until the utilities out of the way.
Right.
As you guys know, that can
Yeah.
really stall things.
I mean, I was hoping that we could get Milestone in here and get that taken care of before school, but clearly that's not going to happen. So they will be doing Stark Street at the same time, or moving their equipment here for the same time frame as Anderson. Already touched base on the Anderson Street on the South Market. Like I said, I had talked to John, but Doug expressed on the bricks. I think the guy was supposed to be here last week from the bricks, and I'm not sure as of Friday morning if he ever showed up to review that yet. But John was kind of waiting to talk to him, and they should be moving forward on that. I think just to briefly touch base on the water inventory, that's coming along. But as far as I know, I think the guys are.
We did 597 meters last week.
Okay.
So we should be down until he enters them all in. We'll get a number, but I'm assuming we're probably around 700 left, so we should be in good shape.
Good. We'll get to the parking lot in Old Business. Water, there's nothing on the Ochre water. We're pretty much good. The last payout was kind of pending maybe a couple of outstanding things on those for October possibly, but yeah.
Double check on that.
Yeah, but nothing new, and Doug already commented on columns as far as that project over there, so unless there's any questions on any of those particular things, move into the new business.
I was gonna see if Bruce or Roy had anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped right over. You do have a couple of things. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, it's actually already been approved, we just need to re-sign it.
Yeah, because it was quite some time ago, and the guy had contacted me from Sycamore Engineering on the blower replacement. He had a different document that was sent back to him that was signed. So I don't know if there's anything to elaborate on, but the blower replacement proposal was for $8,144. I would like to go ahead and document it again. Not that it wasn't before, but before we have this signed and sent back to him. Since I could just go ahead and have you just sign that top one, if you will. So I'll send that back to Brian tomorrow, Bruce.
Okay, thank you.
And then I think that Mike has something to talk about.
Yeah, I've got a quote from Peerless Midwest about getting well number 8 clean when they pulled it. Seen exactly how dirty it was. So, they come last week and put a high service 3 in, so it's back in operation. And they started today on well number 2 as far as pulling it. And tomorrow they'll start cleaning. So I figured while they were already here, we would go ahead and get a quote on this to have them proceed with this as well. So comes in a little bit over 46,000.
Can we see? Can we look at it?
It won't look any
Brandy,
better.
I think that's-
Oh, Brandy have it?
Yeah, I just was sharing it with Dave first that gives the breakdown.
So where are they at on that project that we approved last year? Are they about done with that?
As I just said, they installed high service number 3 last week.
Yeah, but where's that?
So it's up and operational. They started on well 2 today as far as taking it.
Yeah, but where are they at? I mean, there's lots of pump crap in there. I can't recall it all.
Okay, well, 2 and 4 is all they have left, so.
Okay.
And tomorrow they'll video it and start cleaning it tomorrow.
So they're over halfway.
Yes, more than halfway.
Okay. And this is one of those things they didn't know until they actually got it
Correct.
up. Yeah. Huh. Well, I'll move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all I have.
You better settle up there in line.
Sorry.
Is that all you guys got?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, as soon as I sign this, we'll move on to old business.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about the landscaping at a parking lot.
Talk about the parking lot. So, I believe that both proposals are pretty comparable. Both, after speaking with both of them, really had suggested, I know, have been asked, well, why wasn't this done, in June or May? It's not a real good planning season in July and August to do it when it's as hot as it is. So I sent you all the breakdown of what the plants were that Yankee Rose, Unlimited Green, we had already had from previously. The plant total is pretty comparable. I do have a price. I think it was agreed upon in several other meetings that we weren't doing mulch. If you drove up and seen the rain that we had and the washout of the mulch, I think that you would agree that the rock would be a better option for that particular location. Unlimited Green has a proposal for their landscape plan with fabric and river rock at $7,900. Yankee Rose has a proposal of the landscape with the rock labor at a total of $7,866.60. So it's a matter of what you want to see, what you want to do, and move forward. Either one of them will probably do a planting sometime, I would say, in September, after the biggest of the heat is gone, but before it gets too cold.
So did either one of them say what kind of maintenance we'd be looking at for overwintering?
When I gave back the suggestions to Yankee Rose of the first proposed, there were a lot of plants that were not maintenance friendly. So I think the difference in plant selection is probably the biggest difference between the two of them. I do believe that both of them would kind of give within a watering schedule, if you will, if we're going to be, or the town is going to be responsible for watering them until they get established.
Okay. About maintenance problems or thoughts or?
That's all I know about landscaping.
When did you say they probably plant?
Once the worst of the heat is over, it's not a good idea to put all those plants in August, like, this week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a date, but either one of them will definitely get it in before the fall.
festival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have no problem after the festival. It's not very descriptive. Later in the season, the better.
Well, I think, depending on weather, obviously, but, toward the end of September is not a terrible.
Well, I don't know, not that you can count on,
There might still be
4 to
hot.
5 day outlooks, but it's supposed to be, according to AccuWeather, it's supposed to be in the mid 80s through October, into October.
It's supposed to be a hot
so-
late summer, early fall, it's supposed to be hot.
And I would say that would be their professional opinion, that's what they do, so,
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily want to force them to do it prior to festival, even though it would look
Right.
nice to be done beforehand,
Yeah,
but depending on weather.
Somebody make a motion.
I make a motion for Yankee Rose, to approve Yankee Rose as a provider, vendor.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Time for
I said
public
aye.
opinion.
Sorry.
He said aye.
Motion passed.
I'm both opposed.
You want me to oppose?
Uh-huh.
So did you want me to oppose?
No, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're all right. You're fine.
Watering should be an issue with the.
Well,
spigots we
after
got.
talking to both of them in the past, you plant it at the right time of the year, Mother Nature's gonna more so take, but like I said, you don't wanna force them to do it prior to festival if it's still hot and they don't professionally think that's
Use
a
their
good time.
professional
So
opinion.
Yeah.
I think that would be,
Yep.
and then if they could, each give us some guidelines, some maintenance information would probably be helpful as far as when to water, how often to water.
Yeah,
And
that would be
surely
nice,
we
and
can
then-
get it taken care of into winter.
But we did saw those spigots in the ground up there. So
Yeah.
Water would be.
Right,
Easy.
right. I do have the quitclaim deed. This goes back to a meeting that the BZA had several months ago. This was a vacate of an alley that doesn't appear to be an alley. You wouldn't realize it's an alley there, but it actually is. It's on Pennsylvania Street between two property owners. The last BZA meeting that we had, it was in the name of the tenants that are living there, the residents that live there, it was in the name of their aunt. They were asked to get a quitclaim deed. They have done so. So I would just like to move forward and get this documented. Everything has been approved through BZA, and that prior meeting contingent on waiting on this quitclaim deed. And I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, but we can do this contingent on your review of the deed that has been filed with the courthouse.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I'll just make sure it meets all of the legal requirements as far as moving forward to vacate that. And then I will send a letter to the neighboring property owner. Okay. So old business. Am I taking short of this?
So no, go ahead. No, this is your baby, right?
Well, I put them on there, but
Go, Brandy, go.
so the building here. Nick had worked on this with me too on these proposals of estimates in the last year or so. This is the second go around that we've had to get appraisals on the building. So I am just here back to say we need to probably move forward, making a decision. We want to sell the building. We've got appraisals. We have 2 appraisals, and we would list that for no less than the average of the 2, correct?
Right.
Okay. So I would like to see what your thoughts are on moving forward so that then we will move forward as far as getting this building cleaned out as soon as possible.
Well, yeah. We'll have to have some eating place fixed up down.
And I was going to have that proposed as well, but I will have that all taken care of
Okay.
there
Well,
in the interim.
You know, in a previous meeting, I brought up, and it had been bantered about a little bit over the last year, so we're using this town as a public restroom, but calling someone that knows a lot more than I do about such things, we have no way to have two egresses here. We only have one. We do not have another, and there's no way we can get any funding for remodeling from any agency, federal or state, to do anything as far as make public restrooms without having, you know, two exits. We just wouldn't, and we can't do it as a town taking on the remodel of this. So yeah, I just kind of shot that idea. However, you know, we will be coming into getting another property somewhere down the road here that we can revisit this idea of public restrooms downtown again with another property someday. But yeah, this building here is just not going to work for that. And I know, Doug, you were here about that idea of perhaps helping.
I think the CVC has been on record on two projects. One, we're working with Doug on the depot restrooms to get those open year-round. Obviously, the town's made the commitment the last year to put the charging stations here. The CVC feels strongly we want the bathrooms at the depot open year-round.
Yeah.
And we will work collaboratively with all to make that happen. Doug has been working with AC Electric now for 6 months to get a quote, which we still don't have. President Meese of the CVC has authorized me to work with Doug, and we can look at Alley Electrical or somebody else that will give us a quote.
Yeah.
Is that fair? I mean, the
He
commission.
sent you a quote for something, didn't he?
EC Electrical did?
Yes, I contacted him and he said he sent it to.
So, you know, based on the information I just shared, that yeah, I make a motion, we put this up for sale.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sure. I will touch base with him tomorrow because he thought it was being a sealed bid that it had to go to the attorney, so he said it was sent to you.
It's not sent to me though.
Okay.
The sealed bid for what?
It doesn't need to be sealed bid. I think he might be confusing with the police department.
Yeah, this wouldn't require a sealed bid, but yeah, he didn't send it to me either.
Well, he thought with another.
I mean, he can't send it to me. He had-
Construction's also put a bid in or price in for the park, and he's also given me a price on the park bathroom.
He can send it to me. That's
But
fine.
he already told me he did. I will check with him tomorrow.
He has my email.
Okay.
I don't.
Good.
Sorry. Midnight.
Well,
Oh, so are you gonna send out the notice that we're accepting bids in, or am I supposed to prepare something, or?
I would like to work with you on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Only question I had.
Okay.
good. Is that all the other business we have?
So where are we at on the depot restrooms to make them year-round?
Well, that's what they're talking about, a bid they're waiting on from the contractor
To
to.
help us out, the CVC voted 6 years ago, within our budget, we were paying for all of that and donating it back to the town. And it had to be approved by the town, the drawings, to insulate the two walls and install the electric heating.
I think we approved that, didn't we? I mean.
Well, we did, yeah.
It's
We're just waiting on
just
our
waiting on the contractors.
contractor.
I think it was still gonna be within certain hours though, right?
Do what?
Wasn't it gonna only be open certain hours, not like 24?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
yeah,
with
they
the
weren't
time
gonna be
locks.
open
Yeah.
24 hours a day. I mean, we were planning on putting time locks on them, and, I mean, they'll be open late, but not, I mean, was that part of it?
No, the CVC wanted them open year-round.
We got year round, not
I
24/7.
don't think we were as concerned about the hours of operation as we were.
just 12 months,
being
not
closed.
24 hours a day.
Right.
Correct,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they'll be open, I mean,
It's
Any other
a
concerns?
6.5-year project for us, respectfully.
right.
And we've been holding funds back, and we have constituency groups are asking, why are we holding funds back? this bathroom project, and you can't seem to get any heat underneath it to get the quotes to the town.
Well, as soon as we get the contractor in motion, we'll let you know.
Yeah, trust me, plenty of phone calls and plenty of visits.
I've done the same as well, sir.
So,
As you well know.
Does that satisfy you? I mean,
Will the town be acceptable if we have Ally or somebody else put it on it since AC Electric said we can't seem to get a quote to either
yeah,
of
we
us
could,
the last 6
I can
months?
reach out to him.
Are there specs for that when that was presented to the other contractor, or was it just for heating and cooling for the bathroom and have them take a look
Basically
at
just
it?
heating.
Only heating.
Just
The only
heating?
thing they really have to do is to go in the attic and blow in insulation and everything, hold the heat in.
And
There's really no major construction.
they told us that in the 2 walls that are open, between the walls where all the pipe is at, that needed to be enclosed and then insulated above that.
Yes.
So we weren't heating the attic, and then we had to install the electric heating system, correct, in that building. We were gonna use the cold air return from one side, you know, basically through the men's side was what I was told, originally where the closet's at.
okay. I mean, are we good? I mean, are you satisfied with what we're,
Now we'll reach out to Ally.
Yeah, the commission is pretty adamant, at least, that we want these done so that we're not closed in October after the Bridge Festival like they were and have been since 6.5 years ago. And especially now in light that the state is putting out where these electric charger places are, and we're gonna get more folks as we see all the time at the depot charging their cars. No different than your parking lot at town.
all right. Anything else? I'm gonna move on to new business.
I had a question, but I guess my arm's up.
Okay, sorry, Pat, didn't see you.
It's okay. On the appraisals you have that you're gonna average, okay, is anybody gonna ever be able to read those appraisals and see what they say? Or is this just a mystery number?
Well,
Can we see what points these supposed experts put into the appraisals?
They're just for our starting basis cost on bidding, it's not public consumption. It's just, we have to have 2 appraisals and the average of 2 is what the statute requires. So
Well,
it's,
how about people reading them? Yeah, I don't buy pigs in Pope.
it's non-negotiable, it is what it is. We're not gonna get a 3rd appraisal. I mean, what?
Well, they're done by certified appraisers.
They're 84 and 60, so the average would be 72,000.
I just jotted that down just in case someone asks.
But you don't get to read the fine print of what they appraised it on?
Well, you can send us a FOIA request if you want.
What kind of request?
Freedom of Information Act request. But it's not gonna change anything. The statute requires us to have the average.
I know the statute does, but as an individual who might want to open up their wallet, I want to know something. I don't want to take some person's.
Well, you
I worked
can,
in real estate for many, many years.
Right.
I'm not taking anybody's.
what I'm
appraisal or
saying is you
anything if I
can
don't
either
see it.
bid or you cannot bid. The request is at least 72,000, regardless of your interpretation of what the appraisals say.
And that's set in stone, you won't
Yes.
start anywhere else?
It has to by statute.
Okay. Whose statute, if you.
The state of Indiana statute as to municipalities selling real estate
Okay, the
requires.
building has some major issue.
But don't bid on it then.
That's not a very intelligent answer, thank you.
Well, that's the correct answer. If
No,
the statute requires $72,000.
You're totally avoiding the fact that there's a reason for discussion, and that's.
I'm not. I'm telling you what the statute says.
I
You
heard
might not
you.
like the answer to the question, but our statute requires us to get 2 appraisals. We received 2 appraisals, and the 2 appraisals, one said 84, one said 60, so we're operating off the 2 appraisals at $72,000.
And all they said was numbers, they didn't say anything about the building, the structure, the condition, nothing about it?
I'm telling you, it's not something that we have wiggle room on. We're required to use their numbers. It's not something where the town can say, oh.
You're not hearing my question.
You're asking for the actual appraisals, and I told you the mechanism to get the actual appraisals is a Freedom of Information Act request.
Be like buying a house, so I think what she's saying is, she wants to know what's wrong with the building. So if she's interested, just like somebody wanting to buy my house,
Sure.
it's up to them to get the inspection done.
Right.
I put in there what's I know is wrong with the house, and they either take my word for it or they have to hire an inspector.
Right, yeah, I mean, but appraisals are our appraisals.
Yes.
She can get her own appraisal if she wants, if she's buying it, she can get her own inspection.
Yes, that's what.
But the appraisal's not gonna tell her what's wrong with the house.
Exactly.
Well, then that's not a good appraisal.
That's not what appraisal does.
Oh, yes, it does.
It doesn't tell you what's wrong with the property. Appraisal gives a value of the property. Inspection tells you what's wrong with the property.
Well, call it what you make. You haven't got anything to work with. You got a number that somebody pulled out of a bag, and that's not going to sell anybody anything.
Okay. We're trying to meet our process by statute from the state of Indiana to be able to
Okay,
sell
I
real
understand
estate.
that. How about meeting a process that's practical for the town? Hang the state.
Well,
You've got the property here you need to get rid of.
Right, and we're sending out a thing, if you want to bid on it, the bid's open at $72,000.
But that doesn't, I hope you do better than that in court, my God.
We can agree to disagree if you want, but we don't have to be nasty to each other.
Well, but you're not hearing what I'm saying either.
I am hearing what you're saying. You're saying that you want to know specifics on the property, and I'm telling you that the appraisal is only done for the purpose of valuing the property. It's not going to
How can you
tell.
value something if you don't know the condition of it?
It's not going to tell you if there's asbestos in it or things like that. That's what the inspection does.
Okay.
Next. Are you satisfied, Pat? No? Good.
No, but I heard what I heard, and so.
Okay, let's go to some new
Reinforces
business.
my opinion.
Okay, well,
What you got, Dave?
I have letters from the 1974 Town Council.
And we have them because the town council or capsule?
The time capsule.
Yeah.
They came from the time capsule from the
But there's nobody
previous.
addressed on them?
They
They're
came
just for
for
the
the
town
town
Oh,
council.
for the town council. Oh my God. This should be
There's
interesting.
one that's not, but the first one I did open, so we'd have these at the meeting. This is to the owner of the coin store, well, you know, the present owner, which, you know, would have been John Bonomo. They sent a letter of everybody that bought coins, so they funded part of the sesquicentennial. We have a couple of these coins here that we'll have on display
Yeah, I remember that.
in the new town hall, so
I still got mine.
you can look at those. The letter will be in there also, so Brandy will have that. And again, this one is not addressed to anyone, so it could be anybody's letter. I'm gonna open it and see who it's from and what it's about
Dear
before I
Lord.
share it. So.
Dear Lord.
It's a baby picture, so I'm gonna say it's personal. And it goes to Aaron Lorman.
Oh,
So, I know Aaron's family, I should you did.
he was town attorney.
Yeah, but there was nothing on that letter,
Right, sure.
that envelope, so. Okay, so the first one is to the members of the Rockville Town Board in 2024, so. I didn't bring my knife.
You want one?
So, yeah, if you got one.
Yeah, geez.
Thank you.
My brother had one. My brother bought one. Probably still has it.
Nothing else in there, no money. Oh my God.
Is it a proclamation of some sort?
Here's a brief. It's a proclamation.
Oh, no. Okay, well, you're good at those.
Yeah. So, whereas the town of Rockville, Parke County, Indiana, in observing the 150th anniversary of its founding, which was accomplished as follows. Early in 1824, 3 men commissioned consisting of General Arthur Patterson, Joseph Orr, plus Colonel James Smith were sent to the newly founded 1821 county of Parke in the state of Indiana to select a site for the seat of justice for this county. Policy of the time called for these counties located among the Wabash River to alternate county seat locations. inland and on the waterways. Since Vigo, immediately south, had a riverside location, it was for its county assets, Parke should be inland. The commission visited several locations along Little Raccoon Creek and then were urgently invited to spend a night in the New Log Tavern owned by Andrew Ray, located on the rise of the land in otherwise swampy area. Tradition tells us that the commission was royally entertained for such a primitive conditions, and a few landowners living nearby joined in with Mr. Ray in making the visitors welcome. On the next morning, February 20th, the commission announced its decision to locate the future town on that site, and the group walked across the trail to the grove of trees to hold the dedication. A dispute arose as the men of the new community, more than one, claiming the distinction of being the first settler. Then an unknown man, one of inherent hunters of those days, laid his hand on a huge boulder and said, "Here, fellas, here a fella been here longer than any of you. Name your town for him. Name it Rockville." A bottle was fetched from the tavern, toasted and drunk, and the bottle smashed on the rock and christening the town of Rockville.
There you have it.
So there's your founding.
Well, there you go.
Where's that rock?
History has it. That's what they claim.
So the town board, we should put something in the time capsule coming up here.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, this is also Town Board of Rockville, year 2024. Okay. So this is our department heads as follows. Alfred Rex Green, Aiden Decker, Jess A. Trigger Hammond, Robert M. Pugh were the electric department. The street department was Wayne Ormuth, and Milford Ten Point.
Theme Point. You live next to me.
Okay. Richard Martin was a meter reader for the water and electric. Robert Kilborn, Paul Maddox, Robert Martin were the water department. George Bradburn, Joseph Vatt for wastewater treatment plant. Charlie DePlanty was the park. Fred Atterburn and Gary Shea were cemetery. Harold Hobson was stockroom. Glenn Catterson, John Jackman, Gary Pierce, Don Pruner, and Dewey White was our chief of police and police department. Glenn Catterson being the chief. Jack Wilson was our fire chief. Walter Akers was fire department. Gary Wynn was fire department. Marietta Chapman, Martha Lang, Gene Scott, Marianne Killen were our head bookkeeper, it says, billing and secretary. So, and then Bernadine Miller was his janitor. So there's a list.
Board?
I did so.
Maybe that was in another.
Well, the trustee was Clarence Bowman, Thomas Flock, Levon Riddle. They were superintendents. And other trustees were Don Paddock, John Bradford, and marked out somebody's name and put, John Dowd, the attorney.
He was the attorney.
So, but it doesn't really have any board members. So.
Did we call them trustees back then?
Could be.
Yeah, maybe at some point in between it became a.
No, this has got to be pictures.
Pictures, oh dear. Be fun.
I bet that's what it was. They called them trustees.
Yeah.
Nope, it's coins. So we got two sets of coins.
They different.
Good.
That'd be nice.
Do we know what they're made of?
Don't get your luck.
I think they're the same.
But that's pretty good.
It's the numbered set, so I wonder who on the
Yeah, you'd have to
list.
look at the,
Number 116.
My brother bought one.
Not listed.
fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Anything else for this? We'll move on to public comment.
I got one. I don't know if it's public or what, but Chris and I attended the West Central Solid Waste District meeting last week. They had a recap of our Tox Away Day, Electronic Recycling Day in June. They collected 6,655 pounds of electronics. It's down from last year of 8,328. And they wanted me to bring up, I'm sure they'll have in the paper, September 14th, 8 to 1 at the fairground. It's our 2024 Tox Away Day.
When?
Passing those out at the office.
And yeah, you can bring all kinds of stuff there, batteries,
and
computers,
things like
electronics, fluorescent tubes, appliances. So,
Are we doing
Yep.
a fall cleanup?
Need to get a date scheduled.
huh?
What was the date?
14th September. And they had blueberry muffins and coffee for snacks. Yep.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay. Public comment?
I just had one question about Stark Street. You're talking about they was gonna blacktop it when they did the other street, Anderson Street.
Anderson and Walton and Howard Street and plus Stark.
Yeah, I apologize.
So that's just blacktopping, not sidewalks?
No, the Stark Street will get a new sidewalk on the north side. I mean, replacing the old.
Same kind?
Yes.
Same
Yeah.
kind?
Yes.
Who does that? I mean,
Foyt's is gonna take care of the sidewalks, and I'm assuming all the prep work on blacktopping, and Milestone will come in blacktop.
so that it's gonna go from high school to Burnett Manor?
Actually, it's gonna go out to
Jefferson Street.
Stop at Jefferson?
That's where it stops now.
Not Burnett Manor?
Yeah, it just replaces what's there.
I was told
Keith.
two different places, so I didn't know what. Because there's a lot of people from Burnett Manor that walk down that street.
So, yeah, there'll be a new sidewalk on the north side. and then-
Street lights?
I don't think
Fancy
so.
lights on the,
Yeah.
I just asked.
Yeah. I mean, it'll just be a mill and blacktop, so.
Should I start a rumor we're raising electric rates to
So
put
they'll have
street
drains
lights?
in them?
Just what's there.
This replace what's already there.
It was a community crossings application, so it was applied for to replace what is existing.
Okay.
Anything, Luke?
Yeah, just a heads up, Doug had contacted me 2 weeks ago about NDOT requiring him to have a settlement monitoring plan under the roadway for an emergency repair they had. It's not DES related, he just knew I could solve it. I told him it'd be about $2,500. Got thinking about it, I managed to talk NDOT out of having a settlement monitoring plan. So you're gonna have like 2 hours of my time just going to the town on TNN.
Okay.
Much cheaper than $2,500.
You've had to set them.
Yeah, I've done it before, the pain in the butt, but I was able to talk her out of it since I didn't think it applied.
You don't get $12.50 an hour?
No, unfortunately, for you guys. That's about it.
You got anything, Kevin?
He will later.
Prepared to, but don't need to.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'll give you a quick update on the CVC with our increased taxes that we have. Take out the 3% increase with the county commissioners and council approved that last year. If we go back to what we call zero basis, or based on the 5% that we had before, we're up almost 22% year to date over where we were at last year. So just think about the 5, that's a 22% increase on the 5. So with that extra 3, we're committed, and I believe that our county councilman Wrightsman is going to be close, because I think that our taxes collected will be close to $400,000 as long as we have a reasonable fall like we've had all year. Most of our increases come from the Airbnb and the VRBO market, because that's broken out for the state for us. So some of us on the commission did not think we would have a $400,000 budget, which will really mean that $100,000 will be awarded to the volunteer fire, the emergency, and those areas, correct? All those groups, which will be awarded by the CBC under what we call this, the county council will advise us how to award the money, and we're going to unanimously approve that. But the checks will come from the CBC because it's work on our behalf since we oversee the collection of, and disbursement of the dollars, according to the state board accounts. So the council will tell us in November who to award the money to in December, and we'll be writing those checks. So that's really good.
Yep.
That should have also positively impacted with what the CBC's done. We believe by the 1st of November, we will have reached our 3-year goal of surpassing the state of Indiana on Facebook followers, which we're projected to do. As at the end of July, we were under 500 people behind them on how we all report now. And if we go back 3 years ago, we were about 45,000 people behind them. So in 3 years, we picked up 45,000 followers. So that should also see positive ramifications for you, the town board of Rockville, for the years ago that some of you were here, respectfully, and we enacted the food and beverage tax so that 10% of it would go to help fund the parks and bathrooms of the town. I found it interesting that we still talk about bathrooms when 10% of all the food and beverage tax was allocated for the parks in part with bathrooms.
I'll have to review the ordinance on that, Doug. I don't recall. I know we had a whole long list.
The park
of
was
things.
10%. The sidewalks was 20, and the streets were 7.
But let me put it this way: I have no problem using food and beverage to help fund a little restroom activity. Everybody's got to go.
Right. But I'm saying, you know, there's lots of monies have been generated clearly from the tax. It's a great thing for the
that's
town.
amazing. Great growth.
I thought it would take more than 10 years to generate $1 million, and you did it in 7.
Yeah, good deal.
Congratulations.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're having